Stugotz here. Is your home an ADT home? If not, then listen up. You need to get to ADT to help protect against break-ins, fire, even carbon monoxide. And now, for a limited time, get ADT's lowest rate starting at just $28.99 a month from the most trusted name in home security. That's just $1 a day. You spend way more than $1 on your morning coffee. ADT is the first security company to help you keep safe at home and when you're on the go with the new ADT Go app. ADT Go has some great features like a family locator, private messaging, automatic check-ins, and safe driving reports. It even includes an SOS button with 24/7 emergency response. And if you need more of a reason to buy, you get ADT Go with a purchase of any security system. Seriously, guys, it's a great deal. Protect yourself and your family. Do it right now. Go to ADT.com/podcast to take advantage of ADT's lowest rate. ADT, tested, trusted, proven, with 36-month monitoring contract. Early termination and installation fees apply. Excludes taxes and fees. Applies to traditional services only. Certain markets excluded. License available at ADT.com. Stugotz here. There's nothing small about your business, your passion, your hours, your reputation. It's all huge. Your partnerships, even bigger. With Dell Small Business Technology Advisors, you'll get the tech, advice, and one-on-one partnership to help your business grow. Because with reliable Dell PCs with Intel Core processors, you can focus on what matters most, getting business done. Call 877-BUY-DELL to speak with an advisor today. That's 877-BUY-DELL.
This is the Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugotz Podcast.
There are so many things I want to talk about right now after a 3-day weekend. Immigrants, a Johnny Depp article that was crazy. Jameis Winston. Gene Steratore is going to be CBS official.
What?
It's perfect, right? It's perfect. Gene, I would have wanted, if you told me that you could get Gene Steratore, that'd be the dream scenario, him or Hockley, right? Those are the two guys you want. And so now I want to get to that, but I can't because Mike is disoriented again because the butt of the Zlatan is on display for all, as is Greg Norman in all his glory. Your beloved Greg Norman, living life better than any of us. Greg Norman's in the Body Issue. He's totally naked swinging a club, and also he's got a golf stick in his hand. I mean, more man than all of us. And so you got that, and then you got the Zlatan, and he's got a butt tattoo. And this begins our World Cup coverage.
A butt tattoo on each cheek. That has to be so painful. The fatty areas are the ones you want to avoid when getting a tattoo. Really? But it's not a fatty area for Zlatan.
Not at all.
Not at all. That was the most impressive thing to me from this whole Body Issue. And
Greg Norman's was.
Did you see Saquon Barkley?
That's the most impressive thing I've ever seen.
Did you see Saquon Barkley?
I didn't see Saquon Barkley, but I've seen you wandering all around the premises here. You've been shouting at Stugotz, Stu, look, you pushed me out of the way to show Stugotz, what was it, Barkley's thigh?
Before we were obsessed with Barkley playing golf. Because it's shocking to see a Barkley actually be good at golf, but that's what Saquon is. His thighs and how low he gets to the ground and just his drive off the tee.
He is so nude.
Amazing.
Is that the football he's carrying in that spot?
We're still independently trying to verify whether or not it is the football he is holding. Mm-hmm. It took... You did the same thing we did.
Right. Well, that everyone's going to do. Wow, he's nude.
Totally nude.
It's the Body Issue, Dan.
What about those quads?
I know, but we used to do just bikinis back in the day when moral America would get outraged by these things. Women in bikini, shocking. People would cancel their Sports Illustrated subscriptions. And now I'm opening up the internet there, and that's Greg Norman porn is what that is. And it is beautiful. The bodies are all beautiful. Good God, they're beautiful.
I like this. This is really it's just getting the point across because Saquon Barkley, he's entering a pro sport where a lot of people look like him. And that's amazing to me.
But even by the standards of that, you'll always be amazed if you walk into an NFL locker room how fit those wide receivers are. Like, it's crazy. Antonio Brown, shirtless, like the bodies are perfect because all they're doing, they're efficiency machines on running precisely, efficiently. The body is just perfectly honed. And so they get these beautiful bodies that we celebrate by gawking at them.
Greg Norman is the winner of this issue, by the way.
Oh, my God.
He looks fantastic.
Oh, my God.
Even more than Zlatan's butt tat?
Yeah.
Put it on the poll, Guillermo. But hotter, fan your face hotter. Greg Norman's nudity, Zlatan's butt tattoos.
I got to tell you, like the sleeper here, the guy that surprised me the most was Karl Anthony Towns.
Really?
Yes. Looks really good.
Oh, because you thought he was
Cat. Meow.
Because you thought he was flabby? You thought Karl Anthony?
Meow.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Really? Wait a minute. Explain it to me. What happened? Mike, let's explain it.
I can't make that sound, man.
All right,
you
Mike,
guys should know that. Someone just thundered in and made that sound.
I specifically asked Billy to feed it because I can't roll my R's.
Right, well,
can we do it? Can we recreate it again?
But I wouldn't have done what you did, which was just a...
I had to give something.
All right, no, but that was not what you should have given me. That's what you should have given me.
I can't do that.
Come on.
Know your teammates.
Hold on, Stugotz.
You could have waved him off.
Stugotz, Guillermo, listen to me. We were gawking at the body of Karl Anthony Towns. This is uncomfortable for a lot of different reasons. It's unlike any sports radio you've ever heard, but ESPN has put out the body issue, and now that we've gotten past our repressions and we can look at beautiful bodies and not get swallowed by political correctness, we can just gawk at bodies. And so we're gawking at bodies. And you were supposed to be trying to be sensual while gawking at a body legally while being paid for it. Is that hairball? Good God, man. You ruined the whole thing. Because listen to the difference between what you did and what Billy did. Billy, do your sensual leering at Karl Anthony Towns your way. Stugotz, do your leering. You go ahead and recreate that because it's such a good joke. It is such a good joke they gave you. They tossed you this wonderful joke, Stugotz. Let's do it again, Guillermo. For those of you who don't know, and I hate that we ruin these segments by just showing everybody the guts of the show. For the love of God. All right. Anyway, I think Guillermo, I think I'd prefer to do the show with you as the fake Stugotz because you get the show better. Let's do it again. As you as fake Stugotz. Hold on. You as fake Stugotz. No, you stay out of it for a second.
Oh, good. My milk is here.
Stugotz, just stay out of it. Stay out of it.
Is it warm?
Stay out of it. Oh, my God. If you haven't been watching on television, Stugotz has been impersonating a cat for about 4 minutes where he's licking his arms, and now he's been brought a dish of milk that he is drinking with his face.
Stugotz sounds like a horse.
It really does. But let's try this again, Guillermo. You pretend to do the show with me as we leer at the body issue. Are you ready?
I think the surprise of the issue is Karl Anthony Towns. Cat.
Forgot the meow.
Let's try it again.
I think the surprise of the issue is Karl Anthony Towns. Cat. Meow.
That was perfect. It was perfect joke telling. But that's when it falls apart. When you have to use Stugotz to do it, that's where the whole thing falls apart. That's unbelievable. You had the punctuation and the dismount on that joke, and Stugotz, all he did was get in everybody's way. And what's funniest about that is he was saying right before that how we should be in the Radio Hall of Fame, and he was doing the math. Stugotz was doing the math on how many years he has to be doing this because he wants to start the campaign now for the Radio Hall of Fame. And here's the thing about his failures at every turn. He carried the show for Golic and Wingo all weekend. Golic and Wingo are the big dogs in sports radio. Stugotz went.
Rough.
Stugotz went there and carried them. We're going to tell you about what Stugotz did this weekend, carrying Golic and Wingo, because it was a bleep show, right? Stugotz, you were the rock star, but it was a bit of a bleep show.
Yeah, it was, right until we got to the course, and then it turned into a lot of fun. But yes, right up until the point I teed off, it was a total bleep show.
All right, well, we'll get to that next, because Golic and Wingo are going to get a couple of gut punches here.
Hi, everyone. Stugotz here. Support for the Dan Le Batard Show podcast comes from our friends at Rocket Mortgage by Quicken Loans. Chances are you are confident when it comes to your work, your hobbies, and your life. Rocket Mortgage gives you the same level of confidence when it comes to buying a home or refinancing your existing home loan. Rocket Mortgage is simple, allowing you to fully understand all the details and be confident you are getting the right mortgage for you. To get started, go to rocketmortgage.com/Stugotz. That's rocketmortgage.com/Stugotz, STUGOTZ. Equal housing lender, licensed in all 50 states. NMLS consumeraccess.org number 3030.
Dan Le Batard.
Are you not alarmed by how much Stugotz ate last night?
Stugotz.
I had no idea. He ate a lot. He was pretty gross when I left. I had no idea that he went on this, grazing.
Well, here's the weird thing about Stugotz, too, though. When Stugotz eats here, he never finishes anything. I know, because I'm always cleaning it up.
Oh, it's infuriating.
After he's left.
He leaves one wing.
No, but
Well,
no,
in
that's...
case someone wants it,
Just eat the wing.
I thought Roy always ate the leftover wing.
Roy always throws it away.
All right, I'm a slob.
This is the Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugotz on ESPN Radio.
We've got a lot going on here. The World Cup being on while we're doing our show has been delightful. We've all been enjoying what's been happening here. And Stugotz and Mike, for entertainment purposes only, have been making all sorts of prop bets. And Mike just fell on the floor as if he had been, as if the ceiling had fallen in on him because Suarez scored. Now, I thought that would be a good moment. Suarez scoring, that's one of the big stars in the sports, one of the controversial guys. Mike doesn't like him very much.
Unless you have Suarez not to score a goal today.
Not great.
Yeah.
Not great. We had Cavani, too. There was a conversation happening before a free kick that I think really cost us there, Stugotz.
Okay.
My buddy that I Venmo in Delaware is already taunting me.
All right. We need Cavani to score, though, right?
We need a Cavani goal now, and I don't know how many goals are going to be in this game. It's always a tricky spot, the third game of the group phase, because you don't know the team's intentions. I mean, there's a game going on right now between Egypt and Saudi Arabia. The only thing that's on the line is pride.
How about that bet? Didn't you say for entertainment purposes only that Panama would not score in the tournament, and then they're losing 6-0 against England, and they put in a goal?
I said if I could pick one team to go scoreless in the tournament, I think the best bet would be Panama, and things were looking great for that bet. However, what I didn't account for was England going up 6-0 on them. They kind of got a little lazy.
Well, but you did tell us, your breakdown was correct, that Panama's the worst team in the tournament. They've got, the worst things are going to happen to Panama.
It's 6-0. That's a fine.
I don't know if they're the worst team in the tournament. I don't know if they're the worst team in the tournament because Saudi Arabia, wow, Saudi Arabia is bad. And Panama just plays a style where they weren't likely to score in this tournament unless they went down by 6.
All right, but I want to get to that because I know you guys are excited about the World Cup and it has been fun to watch. But this Jameis Winston story, it warrants your attention. This is the wrong crime at the wrong time for the wrong criminal or alleged criminal, when all of these things, you might give someone else the benefit of the doubt.
Right.
Jameis Winston comes into this incident with so much baggage in his past where many people still believe that he just got away with rape. What swirls around Jameis Winston coming into the draft was an insanity before its time, where you had all of the symbolisms of major college sports looking and a town looking like it was covering for a misbehaving athlete because he's the best freshman quarterback any of us have ever seen. And so Jameis Winston enters the league with the perception, fairly or unfairly, that he got away with raping somebody. The courts and everything made it go away. Football made it go away. The police made it go away. But it is the center. It is at the center of everything swirling around America now as it comes to women and sexual crimes and football trying to be a leader on this. And now you've got a quarterback who can't keep his hands to himself, allegedly.
Right. Oh, well, I mean, according to reports, the NFL thinks that something happened in that car because it looks like he might be facing a 3-game suspension here.
And it happened a while ago. It happened a good amount of time, but it was BuzzFeed and it was an Uber driver and everything else. And so here's what Jonathan Vilma, and Jonathan Vilma has been one of the brightest voices through Bountygate and everything else. Jonathan Vilma has been one of the brightest voices to come through sports. Here's Jonathan Vilma talking about Jameis Winston.
When you say he's got together, he's charismatic, he's all these things. Yeah, but, if these allegations are true and if he did those things, then there's really another side to him. You're talking about two different people or personalities, and he knows how to put on one face for when it's time to be around football and yuck it up with the guys, and then he has the other side, right? And that's what scares me, and that's what is very alarming.
When you've got all of us being shocked by the undercovered case of Darren Sharper, where an NFL football player was a serial rapist. And I'm not saying that that's what's happening with Jameis Winston. I'm saying he gets no benefit of the doubt on this incident because he's already got something like this in his past. One would assume while drinking, if you're reading the reports.
Yeah, people are having a tough time believing
he's being put in an Uber by his friend, and then his friends are lying for him. And there's one of the friends who is covering for him, reportedly. You saw this, right? Is he presently in prison?
I think he is in prison on rape charges. He said that Jameis Winston was alone in that car for a period of time. That's what he is saying.
I know, right? In an Outside the Lines interview, is that where that was? Mm-hmm. Regardless.
Also, the Uber driver, according to reports here, she has hired the same attorney that represented the victim in the Jameis Winston case at Florida State. Okay, so it's a giant mess, and it bears looking at because everything that's happening in America, that sports are always the reflection for the fun. The sports is always the funhouse mirror for society, and so Jameis Winston is the wrong name around the wrong crime at the wrong time for Jameis Winston, and given his past and what we know about him. But before we talk any more about that, we have to, Mike, I feel like I need to bury Golic and Wingo. They stole Stugotz from us over the weekend. Stugotz was running around here and he was bothered because it was hard to get him easily on a flight to go sell their show instead of our show. And Stugotz goes there and he gets buried by our listeners who are mad at him for going and supporting their show instead of doing our stuff. And on top of that, Stugotz feels like he was mistreated on the front end. Well, to be honest, Golic and Wingo were fine, and this was my idea. It was a way for me to go play Pinehurst No. 2 in North Carolina, which I did play, and I loved, and we had a fantastic time. And everyone involved with the entire promotion.
Not a small thing.
No, not a small thing at all. You kidding me? Dan's not going to go play Pinehurst No. 2 with me, so I figured I'd latch on to their show because they would do stuff like this because Wingo likes golf. So. Well, before we get into a little more of Stugotz's grievances, though, Mike, that's not a small thing, that one right there that you guys are pointing out. We need to address that for a second, don't we? If you want.
Also, not a small thing was that he agreed to everything he's about to complain about.
Well, but what's not a small thing is if I had told Stugotz 5 years ago, Stugotz, it's Pinehurst, it's Golic and Wingo. They need your help because you're a big star. Can you get in some private cars and some private planes, and can you get to Pinehurst? That would be something that would have been impossible to imagine and beyond your wildest dreams. And so on your way there, the idea that you would be harumphing and complaining about it was kind of amazing to watch.
If you told me years ago, I would have said Wingo.
I ain't got time to bleed.
It's true. It's weird. Mike and Mike should still be together. Wingo is like the stepdad. It should still be Mike, and Wingo comes in and he looks like the actual stepdad who's trying to curry favor with us. But you're totally right. 5 years ago, if I told you Golic and Wingo, what? Why would anyone do that?
Greedy and Golic got announced to the Hall of Fame this morning.
Why aren't they together?
Their 15th Hall of Fame.
Stugotz wants into that Hall of Fame, Mike.
We're deserving, man.
Stugotz thinks flatly that we should be in the Radio Hall of Fame already.
We can pick up that campaign after we get Stugotz on the Body Issue.
Yeah.
Oh,
I'm in.
Or me.
Oh,
maybe both of us.
Yes.
Maybe both of us.
Both of you.
Maybe both of us.
You want in?
Well, if I do it, it helps him. It's instead of just hairy evolution, Like,
You'll look so good next to me, man.
no, I'm going to look terrible.
No,
but
I'm telling you. I'm the one guy you can say.
All right, let's work toward that. Mike, I want to work toward that. Me and Stugotz in the Body Issue.
I mean, it has athletes in athletic positions doing what they do. It's going to be you guys hunched over a microphone.
All right, get on that right now. Allison, Mike, get on that right now. Stugotz and Batard Body Issue 2019. Let's put it in our contract.
To coincide with the Hall of Fame.
Dan Le Batard.
Texter writes in, Stugotz looks homeless today. If I saw him walking down Ocean Drive, I would give him $5.
Stugotz.
Thank you.
This is the Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugotz on ESPN Radio.
So we got some issues around here because Mike is seeing some shadows and some signs on the LeBron stuff. This is that time of year. Mike's got links to links to links. So give me whatever you got here, Mike, in 30 seconds, because in the middle of it, as you're doing this, and I'm fending off Wingo, who's calling, because Trey Wingo objects to some of the characterizations of Stugotz on this weekend event. As I'm fending him off with one hand, and Mike is talking LeBron, I hear Stugotz mutter under his breath, we need to get someone to nominate us. Like, he doesn't care everything that's going around here. He's just thinking about getting into this Radio Hall of Fame discussion because now the star power has gone to his head, Mike. Like, he's going, Mike, he's the star of the ESPN radio lineup, and they need him. Golic and Wingo, as they transition a new marriage with Wingo as the stepdad. They transitioned. They needed the star power of the Stugotz at their event.
I got to be. It's a great Hall of Fame class. You got Francesa going in, you got Greeny going in, you got Golic going in, and the fabulous Sports Babe. And so, like, it appears that you need someone to nominate you to get into the Hall of Fame. And so, I'm hoping that maybe we'll find someone before the end of the segment.
Guillermo, put this on the poll, please, at Le Batard Show. Do you remember the fabulous Sports Babe? Because he's absolutely right. She deserves.
Yes.
To be in the Sports Radio Hall of Fame. But what a pathetic Hall of Fame that is. Like, I feel like it's one of the worst I've ever heard. Not because the fabulous Sports Babe is in it, but because you can actually make the argument that we would be a regal beacon in the cruddiest Hall of Fame.
It's not an argument.
You could reasonably make an argument.
Dan, I want in, man. I
want
in. I'm never going to get to a Hall of Fame, anything else other than this. I want in.
Okay,
and we put in enough time.
No, but
I'm
the thing that happens to you all the time, though, around here is you want something, then you get it, and then you get disgruntled. And that's what happened with this Golic and Wingo thing. Because Mike keeps pointing it out. Stugotz, it's Pinehurst. It's the big radio show on ESPN Radio. You've made it. They need you. They're sending you first-class tickets and first-class travel.
Right.
And you're the star of the show because we're the number one show in Raleigh. Is it Raleigh or Raleigh?
It's Raleigh.
I'm sorry, Raleigh. I deserve the fine, and I'll take it. That's my bad. I make that mistake all the time. I've been corrected many times.
$1 for that.
I mean, but tell me again what it is.
Because we're number one. Yeah, we're number one in Raleigh. So that's $1 for you. I will tell you, to all the other affiliates out there, that's how you embrace this show, our show, and Golic and Wingo, for that matter. I promise you, Trey or Mike would tell you the same thing. That station loves our show, and they love Golic and Wingo. And when the local lineup gets behind the national lineup, then you have yourself something, and that's what they have. Our shows both are like top 3 in that market consistently.
But ours is bigger.
Oh, yeah, by a lot.
And so they needed you for this. And so what are your objections to how you were treated? Because, again, when you arrive somewhere, you often complain, what took me so long?
Well, listen, the only problem I had was really, they wanted me. It was the planning, excuse me.
That's a fine.
Oh, let's see if I have any money. I think I left it all at Pinehurst number 2. Let me check today. Nope.
I see it. I see
what?
$1. I see that's $3.
Well, I only have $1 on me. I was just stuck in
I
between a couple of cards I had because I was cutting some deals in Raleigh.
An IOU.
Some endorsement deals.
Mike, put another $2 in the IOU bucket. It's $3 for the fines if you don't know them. Stugotz gets fined when he coughs into the microphone or doesn't clear his.
You're at 1,045, just so you know, your IOU.
I have an IOU here from Dan, $1, by the way.
Okay.
Let's call it even.
No, and that's not what?
I'll let you out of your 1,045. You let me out of the $2 because I don't want to go down to the ATM for $2.
Let's continue this conversation, please.
So the only issue that I had really was there was a reception party. Now the players that the listeners I was supposed to play with, listeners of our show, they did not show up. I was proud of them. The Stugotz are strong in them. It's a good job out of them. Like last minute didn't show up, no one came, and so
the guys who won,
I thought that was appropriate.
The guys who won the contest after using our Twitter account, those guys didn't show up?
They did not show up. One of the guys got sick, and none of them came. So I played with some of Golic and Wingo's listeners, some of their fans, people who won going through their portion of the promotion. The only problem I had, Dan, was there was a reception party. My listeners weren't there. This has nothing to do with Trey and has nothing to do with Golic, okay? My only issue is they wanted me to get off the bird, okay, get in a car, travel an hour and a half to crash this reception party for 5 minutes, then back another hour and a half because I had to wake up to do the show with Golic and Wingo the next morning. And then when that was done, go another hour and a half back to Pinehurst number 2. And then when that was done, another hour and a half to go back to the airport. So they wanted me to be in a car for
all first class, all privilege, all privilege.
It was a car service. It was not a limousine. I would have preferred that. Super stretch. But what I'm saying is that was 6 hours of driving to crash a party for 5 minutes, and no one was there for me. They were there for Golic and Wingo. Like, the party I was crashing was a Golic and Wingo party.
Whose fault
How
is
did
that?
they crash the party?
Whose fault is that? Who's blamed somebody?
Well, it's Wingo's fault. I mean, Wingo put the whole thing together, and, you know, if he wants credit, then you got to be a part of everything. I don't care how much it tires you and how much it burns you out.
Now.
You got to be at the reception party, Trey.
What?
Stugotz, stop that now.
Where'd he come
Stop
from?
that right now.
What happened? What happened?
First of all, I find it funny that the shortest guy wanted the stretch, right? I mean,
Super stretch.
Shortest guy
Prime time,
on
baby.
seat needed the super stretch.
Yes.
But
Prime time, baby.
I will defend you on this. There's no way you should have had to drive down to Pinehurst, then come back up to do the show with us, and then drive down again. That makes no sense.
Thank you.
So wait a minute. So Stugotz is right? You don't have any objections? You're just confirming that he was mistreated?
Well, I think what Trey objects to... Go ahead, Trey. I'm sorry.
No, look, I think that the idea of flying in to Raleigh, driving down for the reception party Thursday night, driving back to Raleigh Friday morning to do the show with us, and then driving back down after the show.
It's the height of sports radio glory. You both sound like golf privileged snobs.
No,
what are you talking about?
But originally we were told, hey, you're just going to drive to Pinehurst. You're going to wake up, do the show at Pinehurst the next morning.
Do you guys not hear yourselves? You're not listening to yourselves.
Oh, I listen to myself all the time, and I hate when I listen to myself. But I will say that on that level, he's right. Everything else, he has nothing to complain about. But on that level, yes. I think that's a fair.
He agrees with me. Listen, look where we arrived. 2 menches just cutting it up, man.
Wait a minute.
2 menches, me and Trey.
Wingo.
Oh, I love Wingo.
Why do you need Stugotz so much? Why are you siding with him? You were supposed to come in here and brawl with him because he was saying things that were wrong, but you laid over on your back and you let him rub your belly.
I think what Trey, correct me if I'm wrong, I think what Trey objects to is I am taking full credit for this event, and really it's Wingo who put it together.
You know what? Get Hal out with Hal.
Well, hold on, Hal, before you get out of here, can you get us into the Hall of Fame?
Hold on. No, my objection is that Stugotz thinks this whole thing was his idea. If you play the audio clip, he says we should play golf, and I say, yeah, we'll call it a corporate retreat.
Enough. We'll pick it back up with you another time, Hal. Right. We'll continue this feud another day. You can't believe
there is no feud.
There is a feud, stepdad.
My fellow mensch.
There is a feud, stepdad. There's a feud. We all remember the previous marriage, and we loved it better.
Wow.
I'm sorry that came out like
more
that.
More money,
man,
more problems.
Sorry.
I got another one scheduled, Pinehurst number 2, coming up in a couple of months. You in? You want to come with us?
Sound so gross.
I would like you to come with us on this one. Can you do it?
Do you guys listen to yourselves as you're talking about Pinehurst? Mike, what are you looking at? What happened in soccer here?
Saudi Arabia misses a PK. They remain scoreless in the tournament. Russia down to 10 men shortly after conceding a second goal. Not a goal by Cavani Stugotz.
Is your home an ADT home? If not, you have to get ADT and help protect against break-ins, fire, and carbon monoxide. For a limited time, get ADT's lowest rate starting at just $28.99 a month from the most trusted name in home security. Go to ADT.com/podcast to take advantage of ADT's lowest rate.
With 36-month monitoring contract, early termination and installation fees apply. Excludes taxes and fees. Applies to traditional services only. Certain markets excluded. Licenses available at ADT.com.
Dan Le Batard.
So he was on Wingo and Golic, and I'm told this is Golic and Wingo. Excuse me. Whoa,
that's a fun.
Wow.
Yep.
No, that's not a fine.
What do you mean?
No, what? That's not.
That's not the name of the show.
That's not the name of the show.
Fine.
They only had 8 million ads.
$2, 2 names wrong, right? No, and be careful on tone. That's all I'm saying. $2. Fork it up.
Stugotz.
You want me to front you?
No, thank you.
Good, because I don't have any money on me.
This is the Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugotz on ESPN Radio.
Stugotz, there were a lot of funny things that happened this sports weekend. On Mondays, a couple of things that we do is we recap Stugotz's weekend. It was a 3-day weekend. We'll make space for the weekend observations here in the next hour so that you can have plenty of room, because the 3-day weekend, Stugotz has more observations, thoughts that blow through between the tumbleweed that usually is cascading around and bumping into each other inside his skull.
The extra day is
the
dangerous.
Extra day, right. So we're going to get to that in about 45 minutes. But right now, let's do the funniest thing from the sports weekend.
Hey, people, tell us what in the sport made you laugh hardest this weekend. It is a segment we call What Made You Laugh This Weekend. Ha, ha, ha!
Funniest thing from the sports weekend is brought to you by Capital One. What's in your wallet?
Chris, what did you think was the funniest thing from the sports weekend?
Tom Brady at a U2 concert just belting out some songs. He was just like singing at the top of his lungs.
And was it great? So, like, what kind of seats did he have?
It seemed like he was in a box. He was not close.
But he was feeling joy?
It was like a selfie of himself, and he was just like singing, like he was kind of screaming. Like he could hear the music, but he didn't sound great because the phone was really close to his face.
Guillermo, put it on the poll. Tom Brady dancing and singing at the top of his lungs at a U2 concert. Cool or lame?
I don't know where I pictured him, but I didn't picture him at a U2 concert.
Just cool or lame is what I'm asking you, because Tom Brady should, by all accounts, be the coolest thing that we've got in sports, right, as athletes. The coolest thing. Cool or lame. But I don't even know if you're allowed to be cool when you're 40. Even if you're supermodel, five-time champion. Guillermo, what's the funniest thing from the sports weekend?
So the Reds had a little fan named Nolan who got to throw out the first pitch, and he's, looks to be about 2 or 3 years old. And they had him a couple feet from home plate to throw out the first pitch, and Nolan insisted on going to the pitcher's mound. So they were trying to get him to throw for like 5 minutes. Eventually, they finally moved him to the pitcher's mound so he could throw the ball. He throws it like 2 feet, but he wanted the full experience.
Oh, wait a minute! But he choked?
I mean, he's like 3 years
All right,
old.
Put it on the poll. Did the toddler choke? Put it on the poll, please.
I'm with you, Dan.
Look, man, humble yourself, kid.
If you're gonna demand the mound, you got to at least make it halfway there,
right? I mean, let's go, toddler. Listen to me, baby. Listen to me. If you're gonna say put me on the regulation mound, then be a big boy. Roy, what was the funniest thing from the sports weekend?
A kangaroo delayed a kangaroo delayed a Australian soccer match by hopping onto the pitch.
Made a couple saves.
Mike, what was the funniest thing from the sports weekend?
This happened Friday during the World Cup match between Serbia and Switzerland scored a late game-winning goal. And much of the world was introduced to Shaqiri from Switzerland, who's very built. Stocky individual, calves like you've never seen before.
As beautiful as the Zlatan?
No. But this guy's got a huge, bulky body. Rare that you see someone that bulky in soccer. Switzerland scores. He's the one that did it. He tries to rip off his soccer jersey, but he likes to wear his soccer jerseys extra tight. Puma likes to make their shirts extra tight, and it was raining, so it was a bit of a struggle.
Sensual.
But he overcame the odds.
Sensual. Like how sexiest moment of the weekend, too? Is that the funniest moment or the sexiest moment?
It's not. It wasn't sexy because try to take off a wet, tight shirt. Even at your most desperate, it's not the easiest thing in the world to do, but he got it off.
Stugotz, what was the funniest thing of the sports weekend?
Padres playing the Giants, Dan. Their team bus did not show up to the hotel. They forgot the Padres on Sunday, so they improvised, and the Padres rode in a double-decker tour bus to AT&T Park.
That's great.
It's great.
That is.
I love to see like my favorite team in a tour bus, double-decker.
Yes, double-decker, of course. I don't know what it is that I was watching this weekend. I'm really not sure. I think it was the Ice Cube 3-on-3 league. And Nate Robinson made a shot. And then what happened next was amazing. And I was confused and delighted because he then infuriated Rashad McCants, thicker than you remember him, Rashad McCants.
Really?
Right. And I'm like, why is he infuriating him? And then the announcer screams, "Oh no, Nate Robinson has stolen Rashad McCants' mask." And I was like, this is the most delightful thing I've ever seen. Why is Nate Robinson stealing the mask of Rashad McCants? And more importantly, why does McCants have a mask? Mike?
don't know why Rashad McCants has
what's
a mask.
happening?
Sounds like a fun league.
No, but that's what I'm saying. What I was saying is it was the funniest thing I saw this weekend because Nate Robinson was looking for a fight.
Somehow Kenyon Martin's mom was so upset she almost got involved.
That's right.
Tamart.
It was amazing. And it was all over somebody stealing. Again, why did Rashad McCants have a mask?
Stugotz here. Is your home an ADT home? If not, then listen up. You need to get to ADT to help protect against break-ins, fire, even carbon monoxide. And now for a limited time, get ADT's lowest rate starting at just $28.99 a month from the most trusted name in home security. That's just $1 a day. You spend way more than $1 on your morning coffee. ADT is the first security company to help you keep safe at home and when you're on the go with the new ADT Go app. ADT Go has some great features like a family locator, private messaging, automatic check-ins, and safe driving reports. It even includes an SOS button with 24/7 emergency response. And if you need more of a reason to buy, you get ADT Go with a purchase of any security system. Seriously, guys, it's a great deal. Protect yourself and your family. Do it right now. Go to ADT.com/podcast to take advantage of ADT's lowest rate. ADT, tested, trusted, proven, with 36-month monitoring contract. Early termination and installation fees apply. Excludes taxes and fees. Applies to traditional services only. Certain markets excluded. License available at ADT.com. Stugotz here. There's nothing small about your business, your passion, your hours, your reputation. It's all huge. Your partnerships, even bigger. With Dell Small Business Technology Advisors, you'll get the tech, advice, and one-on-one partnership to help your business grow. Because with reliable Dell PCs with Intel Core processors, you can focus on what matters most, getting business done. Call 877-BUY-DELL to speak with an advisor today. That's 877-BUY-DELL.
Don Le Batard.
See how quick he is at slithering around things?
Good.
Like, yeah, you are good. You are a master liar.
Stugotz.
Like you are a genius liar. You are like the Einstein of liars.
This is the Don Le Batard Show with the Stugotz on ESPN Radio.
I'll forever be able to recognize the Zlatan because of pictures of his butt, and I'll forever be able to recognize the great white shark, greater than I even imagined, also whiter. Every bit the shark. The Body Issue is a delight. It left us all longing. Mike, but I need your help here. When I was joking when I shouted at you, don't talk politics, but I legitimately don't know what the rules are anymore about here at ESPN right now with new leadership. I don't know what the rules are on how can I attack what is happening with immigrants, because I had two reactions this weekend, right? Because you know my sensibilities, Stugotz. I'm an exile. I value freedom. Like some of the things that are happening right now on your television screens, they're horrifying in ways that make people react. But even from within that, and even as a child of exiles who values freedom above all else and sees stuff happening in America that doesn't look very American, doesn't feel good. Eliminating the politics from it, it's just enormously personal to me. Like if two laws go different, I grow up in a different regime and I never get to this country and I never get to build anything because my family made all the sacrifices to get me to the freedom, and the ocean is filled with people here. Literally filled with people who've literally thrown their lives to the wind in order to get to this country. And if not by the grace of God, there go I, because the rules were just different for Cuba. And so you're watching this on your televisions, and it doesn't have anything to do with sports. Nothing. Zero. Like, I can't tie it to sports using Steve Kerr as a meat shield. I can't tie it to Greg Popovich. There's nowhere I can tie it, but it's intensely personal to me, what is happening right now in this country, but I don't know how to discuss it on our airwaves. And even within that, though, Mike, what I was thinking to myself as Trump's people get chased out of restaurants, I'm thinking to myself, that doesn't seem very America to do that to people, to deny them service. And then some of the details start filtering in because I'm like, no, that doesn't seem fair. Don't do that. That's not our country. You could disagree with people, but don't deny them service. Let's not do that.
Right. It's very weird to ask me how I talk about it and then go for 4 minutes before I get a chance to answer.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I ruined it.
Just don't ask me.
Okay, all right. So now I'm okay. So tell me, I'm sorry.
Well, I mean, you started doing things that I wouldn't do. Not at all political. You can this is actually something that you can tackle from a humanitarian perspective. If you just try to avoid any sort of politics or political ties or policies when it comes to this, I think you're fine because I've seen people make statements just from the humanitarian prism. Also,
but how about the funny prism?
The funny prism's always
but this is where I was headed. But this is where I was headed.
Funny is, it's a arbitrary, subjective thing.
But I'm Hispanic. The idea of a Mexican restaurant being kicked out. Wait a minute. It was being kicked out of a Mexican restaurant. Like, I was trying to find the funny in it. That's where I was headed conversationally. I'm sorry I got sidetracked, but I was trying to get to the parts where I'm like, man, you shouldn't deny them service. Oh, but that's pretty funny if it's an actual Mexican restaurant.
Also, something that you mentioned in the 4 minutes when trying to figure out how to talk about it, you sort of gloss over, hey, I can't really tie this to sports. Well, that's kind of a big one.
Okay. Fair enough. But what am I supposed to do when it's that personal is what I'm asking you, because while I'm tripping around on the stage genuinely and sincerely, I'm tripping around on the stage. I was not doing that to be somebody who's butting up against management in any way or doing what I want to do just because I want to do it. I'm doing that because I'm telling you what my honest feelings are about this as someone whose family came here as freedom fighters. The idea of freedom really matters to me. And so I won't talk about the details of this anymore, but I'm asking you genuinely. I'm asking you on air. I should have asked you off air. That part's obvious now.
That would have been nice.
That part's obvious now. I should have asked you off air. But I am asking you sincerely, what am I supposed to do here? Given that it's that personal, just back away from the mic and eat it?
Well, the personal stuff, you can certainly share your personal story and your personal experience with that. Lord knows a lot of people in our home. I share my family. My dad left Cuba when he was a small child. I know Billy has family. You can share your personal experiences. And keep in mind, I'm not telling you what to do. I'm just answering your questions as to how you can approach things.
Okay, well, because that's all I want the people to understand is why it's personal to me. We don't have to get into Rabel's, I'm not interested in the politics of this. I'm only interested in the parts that affect me personally, which is my mother, leaving her parents at 14 years old, not knowing if they'd ever see each other again, thinking maybe they'd see each other again in 6 months, and then a decade goes by before freedom arrives. We see it throughout Cuban baseball. Cuban baseball guys, I've written those stories, going to the islands with El Duque and Levon Hernandez when they're hiding on an island trying to get over to this country, and they can't talk about certain things because they're afraid of reprisal back home, but they're trying to get to this country by any means necessary.
So politics aside, this had to be obviously a very emotional weekend for you. Watching some of this play out on TV.
So I'm just personalizing it. I'm watching this stuff and I'm like, man, but like,
it doesn't have to move you politically. The image of, families being separated and just children crying can move anybody, whether they have kids or not. And that's an emotional human response and doesn't have to necessarily be a political one.
And so that's what's happening here, because I remember my mother being in an airplane. She had to leave me alone for a while, and like she couldn't, she wanted to jump from the airplane. And like just some of these things that happen.
Right. It was probably, turning some stuff inside of you and rehashing some of those memories.
And so I'm legitimately asking you guys, because we are among the few stories at ESPN that can actually tell this story, the specifics of this. Like, there aren't very many voices at ESPN who are given the platform. There's right. Am I misreading something when I say there's just a handful? This is not even a race story. It's not a politics story. We're talking about immigrants and exiles and how personal it is to me and maybe 5 or 6 people at the company who understand the specifics of that, of immigrants trying to flee something, or in the case of my parents, exiled. They came from money. They had money. They were leaving their money and their family behind to get to the country, the freedoms that I now have here, that we now have here. These freedoms are not possible. They're not possible if Cuban government and the American government didn't merge together to make that so, with a couple of rules. If not, thereby, for the grace of God, go I. is what I'm telling you. Trying to get into this country, or my parents trying to get into this country. And so I'm legitimately sort of, I want people to understand that, because I don't think that runs through the American prism, because if you grow up in this country, sometimes you don't have to think about those things.
Right. And keep in mind that your story is not necessarily an apples to apples comparison of what's going on right now, but it's close enough that it can stir you emotionally.
Correct. See, that's the thing. I'm not interested in any way in the politics of this. I'm just feeling oh man, no matter which side you're on this, no matter how whatever you think, they're like, oh, that doesn't look good. That doesn't feel good. That doesn't look good. That doesn't feel good is what swept over me this weekend. And it's not taking a side in the fight. It's the personal nature of what I'm talking about, which, Mike, is there enough? I mean, Los Angeles, San Diego, Miami, like, what are the cities that know this?
El Paso, there's, Texas, certainly large parts of Texas.
There aren't many. There aren't many. This is an intensely...
Arizona, New Mexico, that area of the country.
All right.
Glad we're working this out on air.
Yeah.
All right, should we go to something else? Do you guys have something else you want to go to?
I think LeBron may have bought a new house in Miami. Look at his Instagram story. It says fruits of my labor, and it looks like he's looking at the ocean, and I think it's too early for it to be that bright in L.A., and there's definitely an ocean there, and I'm telling you, he could be renting the place. But he seems to really be enjoying the ocean.
Mike, you know what that means. Mike, wait a minute. Mike, we don't know. Mike, hold on.
It's too early in the West Coast
Mike,
for
let's
that.
go.
I'm
Mike,
you right
listen,
now.
why are you waiting, Mike? Why are you trying to confirm things? It doesn't matter whether you confirm them or not, Mike.
Okay, all right. Emoji count. I got a green apple, a red apple, two oranges.
Orange,
Mike,
oranges.
Orange, state of Florida.
Mike, he's coming to Miami.
I got a strawberry.
Is there a grapefruit?
There's a banana. Banana.
Where's the music? Where's the pit bull? He's coming to Miami.
He is.
He's coming to Miami.
He is.
It's done.
He
it's a
is.
banana boat.
Yeah.
Que nobody la fiesta, don't stop the party. Yeah. Que nobody la fiesta, don't stop the party. Woo!
I'm gonna give it to you.
Yeah.
More money, more problems.
Good job, Billy. I'm glad that happened.
Which part?
LeBron part, coming back to Miami. Hi, everyone. Stugotz here. Support for the Dan Le Batard Show podcast comes from our friends at Rocket Mortgage by Quicken Loans. Chances are you're confident when it comes to your work, your hobbies, and your life. Rocket Mortgage gives you that same level of confidence when it comes to buying a home or refinancing your existing home loan. With Rocket Mortgage, you can apply simply and understand fully so you can mortgage confidently. To get started, go to rocketmortgage.com/Stugotz, STUGOTZ, equal housing lender, licensed in all 50 states, NMLSconsumeraccess.org number 3030.
Dan Le Batard.
Give me the musician that John Oates right now would pay top dollar because he has to see that musician.
Chuck Berry.
Stugotz.
Okay. Yeah, well, we can't do that.
This is the Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugotz on ESPN Radio.
Get in touch with the show anytime to the 1-800-Flowers Twitter feed at Le Batard Show, at Stugotz790. Dan, it is time for Straight Talk. It is brought to you by Straight Talk. No way. I fought through it.
But you cleared a cough into the
How many
microphone.
cigarettes did you smoke with Hal and Golick? Like, how much drinking were you doing? Because you're coming in here pretty polluted. You're foul, and you now owe. Well, what are you claiming here? You owe.
I owe $3. You owe $1,042. We can make it all go away. If you wash mine away, I'll wash yours away. How's that sound?
No, I don't owe what you say I owe.
You owe $1,042. Billy has the IOU. And to answer your question, not many. I had a ton of drinks, and I had about 3 stogies and a couple of cigs. I was on the golf course, man. Went in Rome.
Guillermo, put it on the poll at Le Batard Show. Calling them cigs. Jerk or no jerk.
Anyway, it's time for Straight Talk. It is brought to you by Straight Talk Wireless. Best phones, best networks, no contract.
Cigs?
I don't know.
Mike, how do you feel emotionally about the fact that ESPN lost the raging war to get Gene Steratore as the officials expert. You love him, you hate him.
I love to hate him.
Yeah, you go all over the place. Your relationship with Gene Steratore is very complicated. How would you explain it to the people? He's got to be the most confident ref in the history of NFL refereeing. He gives it off oozing with every, like Mike Carey didn't give that off. Very few give. Ed Hockley kind of does, but not really. It's just that he lifts weights but
there isn't a referee that gives off confidence more, and that's saying a lot considering Ed Hockley's body, but there isn't a referee that gives off more self-confidence and bordering on cockiness. And you know what? Let's eliminate bordering. There isn't a ref that displays cockiness.
How is it possible that Gene Steratore, the NFL referee, has conveyed to all of us with very few words that, oh yeah, you love you some Gene Steratore. You are somebody, yeah, big boy, you love it. Like, you get up in the morning, you look in that mirror, and you're like, Gene's going to go out there, and he's going to referee those guys today.
My relationship, I'm looking forward to my relationship with Gene Steratore improving now that he's not ruining the games that I might have action on.
Right, but I miss Mike Carey.
For entertainment purposes only.
We all miss Mike Carey. Put it on the poll,
Guillermo. Bad mistake.
At Le Batard Show. Mike Carey was one of the original pioneers, and this is the fate of leadership often. It's the fate of pioneering this way. You get swallowed as a martyr. Mike Carey was one of the first. And now, and he was terrible, truly terrible, always wrong.
Yeah, but he had Mike Pereira. Like, he had Pereira, I think, was the first, and Carey had a couple of years of Pereira, and then he came in and
Carey got the first chance. We need to examine this. Guillermo, put it on the poll. Do you miss Mike Carey? If you don't know what we're talking about, Mike Pereira is a star. He breaks onto the scene. He explains the rules to us. Think about how stupid this is. You're watching football, and you need the rules explained to you. Mike Pereira explained them. Boom, he's a star. Everybody wants one of those. CBS says, I know, Mike Carey. Everything he says is wrong. Mike Carey gets everything wrong. He never has anything right. Mike Carey leaves in disgrace, and now there's a bidding war for these referees as the football money pours down from the sky, and Steratore's like, nope, I don't need to be cocky here. Start time, baby. Send me the home of Magnum PI and Murphy Brown. I'm going to CBS. Who wants the Steratore?
That's why there's a rash of these NFL officials retiring early.
He's going to be the best at it.
There's
correct?
more money in it for them.
He's going to become a legitimate.
Dan, I'm telling you, it's going to be very hard. I'm not saying he's not going to be good, and he might be great, but to surpass Pereira?
Mike Pereira is classy and smooth, but he's also the old incarnation. He's the old guard. Mike Carey came in, and it was Mike Carey. It was the Mike Carey experience.
Which I miss.
Yes.
I miss because it was so wrong and it was funny. It was comedy in the middle of your telecast. But here comes the new guy. Here comes the big boy. Steratore's here to show everyone how this is done. And I believe Mike Pereira is a bit too polite for Steratore's game. It's Steratore's game now, baby. And he's taking it to the network of Murphy Brown and Magnum PI. That's gonna make CBS the football giant Moonves has always imagined, Mike. It's gonna happen here. He got Romo because he's like, I got him young. I know you guys think that the whole network is old and the whole network feels like 60 Minutes. And
Steratore was the final piece.
Steratore's the piece that brings him back.
The whole approach is a bit tired, right? You're trying to get these officials to be likable. Jeff Triplett was just hired. Mike Pereira, super likable guy. Officials aren't liked. They're hated. You need a face for that hatred.
Well, we hired Javi. Isn't that why we hired Javi?
Face for hatred.
Steve Javi's the most look-at-me referee in the history of look-at-me refereeing.
Whoa.
Wait a minute now.
Perhaps you forgot about him because he recently retired.
Oh, my.
Joey Crawford.
Thank you.
Yes.
Respect the man's name.
Now, wait a minute. I refuse to believe that Joey Crawford, who had his own arrogance and did indeed look like a cartoon turtle without its shell, that Joey Crawford was suspended for a year because he was the look-at-me referee. But Javi threw out a mascot, Mike, or maybe multiple mascots. I think Javi is someone who is a serial mascot ejector.
Joey Crawford threw out Tim Duncan.
Okay, well, there
laughing.
we are. Okay, well, now we got a discussion, don't we? What do I have to make it on the crime list for look-at-me referee Javi on throwing out mascots? Where do I have to be on the number for it to match your criminal activity?
The GIF of Joey Crawford calling a blocking foul. You know the one I'm talking about in Los Angeles.
Yes, it's a great one. All right, we're going to get to the bottom of this.
Jaffe has thrown out multiple mascots.
Don Le Batard.
Bleep yeah! Bleep yeah!
Stugotz.
Bleep no! Bleep no!
This is the Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugotz on ESPN Radio.
ESPN Radio is presented by Progressive Insurance. Guests on the Dan Le Batard Show appear via the Shell Pennzoil Performance Line. Want to go to the 2018 ESPYs? How about going as the guest of this year's host, Danica Patrick? Make a donation to the V Foundation for Cancer Research, and you can win a VIP ESPYs trip and the chance to meet Danica Patrick at a rehearsal before the show. Go to ebay.com/ESPN to donate for your chance to win. For official rules, go to ebay.com/ESPN. Here's your SportsCenter update. Borna Coric defeated Roger Federer for the Gary Weber Open title. Federer's 20-match winning streak on grass is now over. Yankees catcher Gary Sanchez is likely to go to the DL with a groin injury. And finally, Brigitte Nielsen welcomed a newborn daughter last week at the age of 54.
Wait a minute.
54.
The one from the Rocky movie?
Yep.
She dated Flavor Flav seriously for a while, right?
Yeah, that Brigitte Nielsen.
Mm-hmm. Was she Drago's girlfriend in Rocky IV?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was that one of the strangest man-woman connections you've ever seen? Those two.
Yeah.
Brigitte Nielsen and Flavor Flav.
I would say it's certainly in the top 5.
It has to be in the top 5. What else is in the top 5? I'm sorry to interrupt you, Stugotz.
It's okay. I just had a sentence to go. For all the latest headlines and information, tune in to SportsCenter on ESPN Radio all throughout the day.
J.J. Walker and Ann Coulter.
Okay, but are we going to do this? Is it always going to be interracial?
What am I doing? What am I doing?
No, you're right. You're right. J.J. Walker.
Am I doing something?
Well, but Whoopi Goldberg, Ted Danson.
Hayden Panettiere and the Klitschko guy. Huh? There we go.
There we go. Thank you.
One's tall. The other one wasn't.
That's right. That's part of the issue here. What is Darren Ravel tweeting here before we get to Stugotz's weekend observations? They're coming up at noon. At noon today, Stugotz's weekend observations, noon Eastern. It's one of the most popular things we do around here. So 30 minutes from now, Stugotz's weekend observations. What's Ravel tweeting?
Well, right now in the World Cup, we're entering the final match day of the group stage. This is where 2 teams from the group get eliminated and 2 go on to the knockout round. And these games go in the group happen simultaneously. That way, you can't have a result in hand, and a team can just sort of be really lazy out there and not give you a just and fair result. Okay, so Iran is playing Portugal today. By the way, all the afternoon group matches seem to be the exciting ones. The morning ones not so great.
Portugal, what does Portugal need? They're advancing. Right?
Well, their place is not set. They need to win this game against Iran because Iran won on a stunning own goal from Morocco that essentially knocked out our beloved Moroccan manager.
That was heartbreaking. It was heartbreaking. Like, I've never fallen so hard so fast for somebody. Like, that was, yeah, I met him and we had a tour d'affaire and then he was gone.
And Morocco played really well after that against Portugal, only lost 1-0. Iran beat Morocco and played Spain really well. It wasn't great to watch because there were 10 people in the box.
What are you laughing
at? I'm laughing where Mike is taking us right now. I'm sorry.
All right, so I got that out of the way. Right.
It's amazing.
So Iran's still alive despite losing to Spain. This is an important game. Iran versus Portugal.
Should we kick him out? Do you want to kick him out of the room? Like, I thought we wanted soccer coverage.
No, this is where I'm going, right here. So, Iran needs to win this game. Usually, the old thing, sometimes when the Patriots are playing in Pittsburgh or the Steelers are near Foxborough, there'll be a fire alarm pulled at the hotel or you'll call the opposing team. Well, all the Iranian fans just went to the hotel that the Portuguese are staying at, and they're outside having a huge party at night. And there's a great video that Darren Ravel posted on his Twitter account, and at one point towards the end of the video, the camera pans up, and you see the beautiful silhouette of Cristiano Ronaldo.
It's amazing.
Shirtless,
I paused
of course,
it there. Yeah, I paused it there.
Shushing the crowd, pantomiming that he has to go to sleep because there's a game tomorrow. So they just were partying all night, preventing the Portuguese players from getting the rest that they need.
But this video, who sent this video out and how popular is this video? Because that must be the full drinking in of the most beautiful, least humble athlete in the history of sports. Like Ronaldo, who Mike Ryan has accused of Botox usage. Ronaldo shirtless, emerging from his hotel room, asking to sleep. and there are throngs below drinking and just trying to upset throngs of Iranians.
Celebrating,
Yes.
drumming, singing aloud,
Yes.
preventing the Portuguese players from
But
getting
he
the
must
next
be so
arrest they
torn
need.
because he loves a good party, right?
He seemed to be in a playful mood while asking and begging the Iranians to please
That would
keep
be
it
pretty
down.
terrible, though. Can't you get some earplugs? Like, what's the story, Ronaldo? You don't have enough money to get some earplugs.
It's like trying to sleep at the Clevelander. I mean, that's what he's trying to do.
The Mexican team actually went down and asked their own supporters to please keep it down so that they could sleep and get ready for the game the next day. They said, thank you for your support, but please, guys, keep it down. We need to rest for the game tomorrow.
Mike, history of arrogance. Is Ronaldo going to be unseated by Steratore?
Man, you guys are disrespecting the Zlatan. The butt-tatted Zlatan in the history of
What
arrogance.
is the butt tattoo? The Zlatan is in the body issue. Greg Norman stole the issue, but the Zlatan thundered from behind, literally.
Yeah, so we all know about the full-back lion tattoo on Zlatan, right? He is the lion. He refers to himself as a lion. He has this really gnarly back tattoo. He's one of the more tatted-up athletes. What we didn't know was what lied below the lower back, and that
Perfect
was
glutes.
Amazing glutes that are tatted up.
Perfect.
Tatted up
Perfect.
with some sort of design that looked really tedious because it's not one massive design. These are little pieces that combine to make one larger piece of artwork on both cheeks. It's really
It's beautiful.
magnificent
It's a
thing.
piece of art. The Zlatan can say with a straight face and with no sarcasm, my rear end is a masterpiece. It is a work of art. And no one could dispute it. The Zlatan would be correct, as the Zlatan often and always is.
Yeah, proven, by the way. The only person to never be wrong.
Other than Steratore.
Yeah, Seratore's never been wrong.
Guillermo, put it on the poll. In arguments at home, has Steratore ever been wrong? What are you looking at, Mike? What are you
at
rooting
home? No,
for?
I don't care, Dan.
Mike,
I don't care who
what
you
are.
are.
What are the bets you two have?
I'm sorry, we have
all
Cavani to
kinds of
score.
I'm distracted today.
We have Cavani to score, and he just blew an opportunity.
Yeah.
Bad pass from Suarez.
So you're saying Steratore even wins the arguments at home? Because I'm telling you, that's the one place he does not win the argument.
I don't
care who you are.
I don't think Steratore ever says, yeah, I was wrong on that one. My bad. I don't think Steratore has ever said my bad. I can't wait till he swaggers into that referee's booth and just takes over the joint.
Can't wait for him to start ripping other officials.
Oh, yeah. Well, he's going to be a loose cannon. His arrogance is going to make all the other guys who are protecting each other being as nice as Mike Pereira is all the time.
I hope they always go to him in a stand-up. It would be a real mistake to have that dude sitting down because he needs to saunter over to wherever he's going
Mike,
on camera.
The refs, this is a fairly fascinating thing to see happen in sports in real time. The refs have gotten a taste of the cotton candy. The refs want in on the game. They want you to listen to them break down the game in the telecast. They want you to fight over them as analysts, experts in a sport where we don't know what the hell a catch is. We're watching the game, and then we'll go to Mike Carey. He'll get it wrong. We'll go to Steratore. He'll get it wrong, but then we'll never admit it.
Baron Davis and Laura Dern.
We're going to keep doing it. We're going to keep doing it with just interracial marriages.
No, remember, we had Klitschko. We're safe. Just keep mentioning Klitschko.
Well, put those all up on the poll, Guillermo, all those unusual marriages. How many others are there?
Julia Roberts, Lyle Lovett.
We got two now.
Yeah.
That's a good one. How about the lead singer from the Cars?
Rick Ocasek? That's not a fine if he's asking a question, by the way. I know a lot of you.
It's a loophole, though. At the very least, a loophole.
The lead singer of the Cars is one of the hardest to look at people in the history of entertainment. I think that was a source of the same thing you guys are doing to Julia Roberts and Lyle Lovett. You could do in this circumstance. Tell me I'm wrong, Mike.
Wow. Rick Ocasek still rocking the jet black hair, thinking we don't know.
Is your home an ADT home? If not, you have to get ADT and help protect against break-ins, fire, and carbon monoxide. For a limited time, get ADT's lowest rate starting at just $28.99 a month from the most trusted name in home security. Go to ADT.com/podcast to take advantage of ADT's lowest rate.
With 36-month monitoring contract, early termination and installation fees apply. Excludes taxes and fees. Applies to traditional services only. Certain markets excluded. Licenses available at ADT.com.
Don Le Batard.
Metal nets have to be right up there with like ice skates as the most dangerous things that people do to play sports, right? Because you know that the people that are buying those metal nets are largely kids. And if they have a hoop that they lower, it's like at 7 feet tall, and they're just dunking on them. And you know the fingers are getting stuck in those nets.
Stugotz.
In track and field, the gun they shoot off, that's kind of dangerous, no?
It's not an actual gun.
I don't think it's
a starter pistol. It doesn't shoot anything out.
I know it doesn't actually shoot a bullet. Nothing comes out of it?
No.
Just the sound.
Yeah.
This is the Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugotz on ESPN Radio.
He scored!
I told you!
He scored!
I told you he was going to score!
90th minute! 90th No business being in the game! Why is he even in the game up 3-0?
To win our bet for entertainment purposes only.
It's 3-0. That's a fine. What was his name again?
Cavani!
Yes! Look at this.
Stugotz is just following Mike Ryan blindly.
What a big save by the keeper
Wait a
there.
minute. Is this play-by-play? We can't give play-by-play.
No.
It's a replay. Well, you could say something happened in the past.
Cavani, something happened.
Did that hit Suarez's foot?
Oh, hold on. Who's going to get the goal here?
That's a Cavani.
That's a Cavani goal. That's a Cavani goal. Don't you even dare suggest that. Whoever did in there. Okay, that's a Cavani goal.
Yeah. I've been on a real tear when it comes to deciding who's going to score. For entertainment purposes only, I'm 5 for my last 5, and it's a really fun way to watch a game.
Well, what you must? How does that? Who's got the best odds? How does that one work? You're always getting value there, right? You're always for someone to score in soccer. Is it ever a minus bet?
Yeah. Ronaldo to score today, you're not getting plus juice on that. Like it's a favorite. Entertainment purposes,
right.
Like minus entertainment purposes.
Didn't you lose like 7 minutes into this game because the wrong person scored for entertainment purposes?
We had him not to score.
Yeah, what I'm saying is I'm 5 for my last 5 on the to score prop. I'm 0 for my last 1 on the to not score because I went against Luis Suarez. But I'm a real heater here, Papo. I had Sadio Mane, I had Falcao yesterday, I had Eden Hazard, and that was a laugher. I'm killing it. All these entertainment purposes.
Okay, Guillermo, help me.
Having the best time with my entertainment purposes.
Help me with something here, Guillermo, please. Mike Ryan is a yammering soccer zealot, okay?
He can yammer all he wants, but he wins me money.
And the World Cup is a great time to be a yammering soccer zealot. And furthermore, young people in this country, even though Stugotz is winning money on soccer, he hates soccer. Young people in this country have decided that soccer is absolutely something that they care about. It is fast rising in every respect. Even though you've been hearing it for 40 years, it's real this time.
Well, there is that Bloomberg article that's making the rounds. Hey, soccer is on the rise because World Cup ratings in our country are down 44%. Mm-hmm. But there's a lot that goes into that.
Yeah, us not being there.
U.S. not being there and getting those monster numbers for U.S. games is huge. And also, there's quite the time difference from this World Cup to 4 years ago.
Hold on. Just back off before you defend your beloved sport again. You're wearing me out during the break with Belgium talk. And I'm like, Mike, that's not good radio. You're just hammering everybody in the room here with Belgium talk. Now, the Iran story was a good one because it ended in a shirtless Cristiano Ronaldo. That was okay. Mm-hmm. But you're just yammering about Belgium. What do you want the people to know about Belgium?
I've got an interesting scenario for you because England and Belgium are playing a game. They're advanced already, but they have to play this game. You have to play out all of the matches in your group.
What are you celebrating?
Cavani's coming out. He deserves the ovation.
You have to give him the
Oh, now they're taking him out?
Sugotz, it's a soccer clap. You got to put him over your head. Over your head.
Cavani! What, Guillermo?
There's specific ways you have to clap also.
The soccer clap is up top. Yeah, that's because you're paying respect to the rafters and they're all clapping for you.
Anyway, Belgium.
Okay, so Belgium-England game. Right now they're tied in points, tied in goal differential, tied in goals scored. This is a game that the loser, if there is a loser, actually has the easier path, the way that the results are working out. So you don't want to win this game. Both teams don't want to win this game. And if it's a draw, things remain the same, right? So it might come down to the tiebreaker of FIFA Fair Play, which is yellow cards and red cards accumulated. And the way that you get them, there's a certain point total. So we might have a situation where in the 90th minute, there's a team going studs up trying to take somebody's knees out because they want to avoid playing Brazil.
Sounds like a must-lose game.
Is it a must-lose?
I mean, if you're buying what Mike is selling, then yeah, it's a must-lose game.
How do red cards work?
What do you mean, how do red cards work?
So, like, if the team goes out and they all just get red cards and that's the end of the game, they're obviously going to have more penalties than the other team, right? Do they have to miss games or something?
Well, you don't want to get too many red cards because a red card means not only can you not play in the remainder of that game, you miss the following game.
Well, wait a minute. We're really going to do After Belgium Talk Rules Radio? You just curious about that? You could look it up on the internet.
Well, no, because he says that the teams have to try to intentionally get penalties so that they lose and they can go to a thing.
Try to intentionally get cards.
Yeah, so they play an easier team.
It's a wonderful proposition. The idea of at the end of the game, if the tiebreaker is yellow and red cards, we need a brawl with shivs and somebody throws a cleaver. And you might get soccer to be big with the UFC crowd.
What's the worst thing you can do on the pitch and get away with it so that it doesn't affect you moving forward?
The biggest thing that you could do, well, I mean, Suarez has gotten away with some stuff.
He's bitten people.
Yeah. Well, he didn't exactly get away with that. He served a pretty lengthy ban.
Well, how long of a ban?
We're not going to be biting people. Like, if this is going to be just a sluds up tackle or just... it's not going to be that desperate, although you do get more points you get the most points for having a yellow initially and then getting a second yellow, which has earned you a red. So your first challenge may be on the line, borderline red, and then you get your money's worth.
Does it even make sense? What am I missing here? Does it even make sense? Why would you be... You're rewarding the team with more of these infractions? These infractions would seem to be a bad thing.
It is a bad thing. Don't do it. Don't go suds up. Very bad. But the perception is the runner-up in that group actually has the easier path in the knockout round. So you're kind of rewarded for finishing second.
Okay, I got you.
So this is the way to get people that are not interested in soccer to watch soccer. You say, look, there's going to be this game full of lawlessness. Winner doesn't matter. It's whoever can cheat the best gets the best thing going forward.
Right, they're both trying to lose. Yes.
Yeah, and hurt each other possibly.
Right. So they're both trying to lose. They're both trying to get the draw. So you can't count on that. Like, oh, watch this game because it's fun to see somebody lose. No, there's an extra tiebreaker. Dirty play. Let's go for it.
That sounds like you've got something there, Mike. You just made something for the radio audience. If we could break that down, is there any chance that would happen live on air? Is there any chance?
Well, it's a 2:00 start on Thursday, so it's not going to happen on air. We have days. But we can all go to Fido after the show and just watch.
I can't wait to do that.
I have a lacrosse game and a bar mitzvah.
Stugotz's weekend observations are among the most popular things we do. It's why Golick and Wingo need him to carry their show.
Stugotz here. Is your home an ADT home? If not, then listen up. You need to get to ADT to help protect against break-ins, fire, even carbon monoxide. And now, for a limited time, get ADT's lowest rate starting at just $28.99 a month from the most trusted name in home security. That's just $1 a day. You spend way more than $1 on your morning coffee. ADT is the first security company to help you keep safe at home and when you're on the go with the new ADT Go app. ADT Go has some great features like a family locator, private messaging, automatic check-ins, and safe driving reports. It even includes an SOS button with 24/7 emergency response. And if you need more of a reason to buy, you get ADT Go with a purchase of any security system. Seriously, guys, it's a great deal. Protect yourself and your family. Do it right now. Go to ADT.com/podcast to take advantage of ADT's lowest rate. ADT, tested, trusted, proven, with 36-month monitoring contract. Early termination and installation fees apply. Excludes taxes and fees. Applies to traditional services only. Certain markets excluded. License available at ADT.com. Stugotz here. There's nothing small about your business, your passion, your hours, your reputation. It's all huge. Your partnerships, even bigger. With Dell Small Business Technology Advisors, you'll get the tech, advice, and one-on-one partnership to help your business grow. Because with reliable Dell PCs with Intel Core processors, you can focus on what matters most, getting business done. Call 877-BUY-DELL to speak with an advisor today. That's 877-BUY-DELL.
Don Le Batard.
Deion Sanders is the best to ever do it. I think we've talked to you before briefly. I don't know how. At one point, you had gone public saying you had a sex addiction, right?
No.
Okay.
No.
Stugotz.
Oh, that wasn't me. That was another guy. Ain't no sex addiction. I love sex just as much as you love sex. Ain't no addiction. You like I'm a sexaholic or something? You try to get a confession out of me.
I feel like I've talked to you about that before.
No, that wasn't me. That was the other Sanders. That wasn't me. That wasn't me.
This is the Don Le Batard Show with the Stugotz on ESPN Radio.
ESPN Radio is presented by Progressive Insurance. Guest on the Dan Le Batard Show appear via the Shell Pennzoil Performance Line. Here's your SportsCenter update. The LA Kings signed Ilya Kovalchuk to a 3-year contract. I hope I said that right.
Wow, for real?
Yeah, 3-year deal.
Kovalchuk is back?
Yep.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. The owners of the Chicago Cubs are interested in taking over Serie A soccer club AC Milan.
Serie A. Serie A.
Serie A? Okay.
Serie A. So it's 2 A's. Serie A. It's not like you got to stutter. Serie A.
I don't think so. I mean, it's spelled here S-E-R-I-E.
Serie A. It's kind of like the country. Just say Syria.
Serie A, soccer club AC Milan. What's this 2A stuff he's talking about? And finally, rapper Action Bronson says he auditioned for Martin Scorsese's upcoming film, The Irishman, but says he, quote, totally bleeping bombed. It was terrible. I'm not good at reading off paper. First of all, I couldn't see the bleeping words on the paper because I need glasses, which is crazy in itself because I thought I had fighter pilot vision. I've been saying this for the past 10 years, and I'm bleeping lying to everyone, Bronson said. Apparently, Scorsese is a big Action Bronson fan.
That can't be right.
Because the rapper overcame the terrible audition and got to share a couple of scenes with Robert De Niro in the film.
That can't be right.
What do you mean?
Guillermo, put on the poll, is Scorsese an Action Bronson fan? It just can't be right, is what I said to you.
Fighter pilot vision, though, is funny, right?
Yes.
You fight the vision forever as you get old, right?
I'm pretty sure that fighter pilot vision is the only reason you read all those words. That phrase. To hear Action Bronson quoted as saying fighter pilot vision.
With GNC Auto Deliver and Save, don't worry about missing a daily dose of your favorite products. Set up your free subscription and enjoy free shipping and 10% off your order. Quality ship, wellness delivered. Visit GNC.com or a store near you to learn more. For all the latest headlines and information, tune in to the SportsCenter on ESPN Radio all throughout the day.
I want to get to this Kawhi Leonard story. I want to get to the bottom of why Nate Robinson stole Rashard McCantz's mask.
Right.
It had hair on it. It looked like a mask. It looked like a Halloween mask.
It was a Joker mask.
Yes.
Well, okay, but why? Why does he have a Joker mask? Is he like a professional wrestler that way? All right, we'll get to it later. Time now for Stugotz's weekend observations.
It is time for Stugotz to share his game notes. No one in the media will tell you what happened better than my boy Stu.
Weekend observations brought to you by Vivid Seats. When's the last time you were at the game or a concert? Go to vividseats.com/ESPN today for your exclusive discount offer. Vivid Seats, the official ticket partner of ESPN. Dan, things are starting to get a little messy for Argentina in the World Cup. Speaking of cups, Dwight Howard didn't even have enough time to enjoy a cup of coffee with the Nets. Just a shot of espresso. Dwight Howard, Golden State Warriors, collision course.
And then win a title. It won 4 titles.
And Dwight, so we are clear, you join them and win a championship, you'll be joining a growing list of players who have never won a championship in my personal record book. Poor DeAndre Ayton still has to live so close to Sean Miller. The Knicks believe they got a steal with their second-round pick, Mitchell Robinson. Here's what I believe. If any other team drafted him, they would have gotten a steal. The Knicks got someone who will be out of the league in 2 years. By the way, what team doesn't believe they got a steal with their second-round pick? Hanley Ramirez, what could have been? Hanley Ramirez, what could lie ahead? Hanley Ramirez, possibly 3 squares per day, collision course. Sean Miller had the number 1 pick in the draft and lost to Buffalo. Pinehurst number 2, beautiful, amazing, not intimidating, right up until you get on or around the greens. Then it tortures you like no other golf course I've ever played. Ronald Darby, your loyalties to Jameis Winston knows no boundaries. Ronald Darby, prison cell, late at night, asking himself if lying for Jameis Winston was worth it. Collision course. You ever watch paint dry? If so, no need to watch baseball. Panama qualified for the World Cup. But don't worry, soccer is growing in the U.S. Panama wildly celebrating a goal after going down 6-0. Disgrace. Act like you've been there before, even though you've never been there before. You don't hear a lot about him, but I think the best soccer player in the world right now might be James Rodriguez.
Oh.
What happened there?
He struggles with Rodriguez.
Well,
what happened there?
It's James.
It's James to me.
James.
Well, it's spelled James. All right, James Rodriguez.
You can just call him James.
How about JR?
Okay.
Lawrence Taylor saying Jameis Winston should know better. Lawrence, the Stugotz is strong in you. LT, for the love of everything that is holy, let Dwayne Casey win NBA Coach of the Year tonight and let him accept that award wearing a Pistons hat. We are about 2 weeks away from finding out which NBA team will lose next year's NBA Finals to the Golden State Warriors. You know what Francisco Lindor spent the weekend doing, Dan?
Nope.
Yard work. Josh Rosen said Sam...
You didn't even wait for me to... And you want to do that with me waiting?
It was perfect. I actually timed it up perfectly.
All right, very good.
It was very good. There was no dead air, no spaces, nothing. You answered, I answered. It was like we were making music there, man.
All right.
Oh, we can try it again if you want. You know what Francisco Lindor spent the weekend doing, Dan?
What's
yard work? Josh Rosen said Sam Bradford is helping him out a ton. Hopefully, Josh passed the famous course, Bradford 101, where quarterbacks learn how to get injured, never live up to expectations, and end up holding a clipboard and teaching guys like Josh Rosen how to play the position. Anyone check in on Paul Casey today? Yesterday, he spent the entire day choking. Indians, D-backs, World Series, collision course. Here I am! Rock you like a hurricane! The 76ers saying they are not shopping Markelle Fultz when credible reports say they are shopping him. Sixers, the Stugotz is strong in you. Jim Nance called Bubba Watson an artistic genius. Jesus, Jim, he's a golfer. Bubba Watson won the Travelers Championship for the third time with just some incredible shot making. Man is like a Picasso with a golf club. Edwin Jackson signed with his 13th team.
No.
Man, that's a lot of cups of coffee. Carmelo Anthony opting in. Heady play. Carmelo Anthony, you've done an amazing job of not looking too defensive. Chiefs offensive lineman Laurent Duvernay Tardif, an actual doctor, can't wear an MD on the back of his jersey. Man balanced football while becoming a doctor, studying in the offseason for 8 bleeping years. Laurent, instead of wearing MD on the back of your jersey, you should wear an FU. By the way, Doc, since you're a doctor now, you might want to tell your coach to lay off the donuts and the Waffle House.
Oh.
What happened there? Ruben Loftus-Cheek, Chelsea first team, collision course. What happened? You're upset with the Andy Reid stuff? I don't understand. He's a doctor now. He can help us coach out. Should be a good guy. Why are you upset by that?
Not upset.
Oh, he's a doctor now. Love this ridiculous time of year. We think OKC has a leg up when it comes to re-signing Paul George because his mom had a surprise party for him and invited Billy Donovan. LeBron ate at Garcia's Seafood in Miami on Saturday.
That's right.
He's back!
That's right, baby. LeBron to Miami is official. Let it ring out throughout all ESPN's echo chamber.
Yeah!
Que no vale la fiesta, don't stop the party.
He was hugging old women, old Cuban women at Garcia's Seafood.
Don't stop the party.
Is it Doncic on this? Luke Doncic won't play in the Summer League.
Doncic.
Because he's too busy.
And it's Luka.
Catching up on Season 7 of Friends. The A's have homered in a Major League record 25 straight home games. So, for the A's, every ballpark is a home away from home. A kangaroo played in the World Cup. The United States did not. I thought we took that out. He has the yips, was the first public comments from the new trainer of Markel Fultz. Joey Gallo update, batting 192 with 18 homers. Joey Gallo update, 266 at-bats, 111 strikeouts. Joey Gallo, sometimes all or usually nothing. Cody Bellinger, sophomore slump. Dodgers, 7 homers, 8 runs. Baseball, the Mets are 7-25 over the last 32. I hate them. The Jets claim they have 3 quarterbacks, which means they don't have one. I hate them more. To the guy on a small Delta plane from North Carolina to New York who decided it was a good time to chat up the lady next to him about AI, VR, and how the robots will eventually take over. Do me a favor. You and your robots, go to hell. And when you get there, make sure you say hello to Art Briles. Dan, those are the weekend observations.
Aggressive.
This guy. He's definitely trying to get a date out of it.
More money, more problems.
He went, I mean, I tell you, it was an hour and 20 minutes on AR, VR, and the robots are going to take over. Right. And when he started with AI, I was figuring Allen Iverson, I'll join the conversation. But then he went to virtual reality and robots are taking over the world. And I was done.
All right.
I blasted him right on the plane.
All right, we'll get back to that in a second.
Annoying. Small crap.
I'll tell you what's annoying. I mean, what you did with Jameis and Lucas.
What about?
Did you
Luka.
get a...
Luka. Fine. I mean, it's a fine.
I wasn't going to say it.
It's a fine. It's really $10 because Mike just corrected me on it. Therefore, it should be fresh in your mind right now. I mean, I haven't heard his name since the draft.
Lucas?
I called him Luke.
He called him Luke Doncic or something like that.
Doncic. Like Doncic. Hi, everyone. Stugotz here. Support for the Dan Le Batard Show podcast comes from our friends at Rocket Mortgage by Quicken Loans. Chances are you are confident when it comes to your work, your hobbies, and your life. Rocket Mortgage gives you the same level of confidence when it comes to buying a home or refinancing your existing home loan. Rocket Mortgage is simple, allowing you to fully understand all the details and be confident you are getting the right mortgage for you. To get started, go to rocketmortgage.com/Stugotz. That's rocketmortgage.com/Stugotz, STUGOTZ. Equal housing lender, licensed in all 50 states. NMLS consumeraccess.org number 3030.
Dan Le Batard.
Some people might think that I love you are the 3 best words together. For me, that's not what the 3 best words together are.
Stugotz.
The 3 best words together are Stugotz just making a point and going, how's that sound? Or a derivative, how about that?
Yeah, that's my favorite.
Here, you can eat some of this. How about that? How's that sound? I don't think there are 3 better words in the language.
I didn't think you guys noticed, man. It's incredible. I'm glad you like it. How about that?
This is the Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugotz on ESPN Radio.
There are some sports stories today that I legitimately have wanted to talk about, and we keep getting derailed. What Bruce Bowen has said about Kawhi Leonard, I want to talk about. I want to talk about Kawhi Leonard, the idea of them trading him only to the East. Why are they doing that? Is it to placate Kawhi Leonard? Why are you doing that? Is it because Kawhi would be in control of the situation and would prefer to be out East?
I think it's a leverage
or
play.
Or to punish him because he wants to be out West. He wants to go to the Lakers and not allowing it.
I think it's a leverage play for San Antonio. It's, hey, we're only going to trade him to the East, which forces the Western Conference teams to really kind of, give more than they would normally give in an effort to try to get Kawhi Leonard. But if he says he's going to the Lakers in a year, what's the point? Right?
It's clear what they want to do by only sending him East. They don't want to have to deal with them in their own conference because they're going to try to rebuild and compete in that conference. However, Kawhi does have a certain bit of leverage here too by saying, I'll re-up with any team that trades for me. And he can say, no, I'm not signing that extension.
That's where the players have the power. So I wanted to get into that. I want to get into Melo. I want to get into this Hanley Ramirez story, which sounds crazy. I wanted to get into Edelman and the idea that Edelman is vigorously defending himself on this, but nobody believes anything a vigorous defender has to say anymore on this subject. They're literally, even if you've been wronged, if you could be in a situation where you get 4 games and it's a total mistake, total innocence.
Right.
No one will believe that.
100%. No one's going to believe you. I think we stopped believing people at Ryan Braun.
Is that where we stopped?
I believe so.
What was the tipping point on when we stopped? But I also wanted to get into what Stugotz was saying, which is that baseball, this 7 homers that produces 8 runs, like what you've seen happen in the modern age with advanced stimuli, with basketball and baseball, is baseball has evolved that way. The pitchers are so precise. You're not facing an arm 3 times through a lineup. Everyone's coming out of the bullpen throwing 100 miles an hour, and every guy who's in the batter's box has realized, oh, wait, a single isn't valuable the way a home run is. And so the game has evolved that way, and it's the worst way because it's too slow. Look at how basketball has evolved. Look how much more fun it is.
Right.
Like baseball's in a precarious place because the players have gotten too good. They've gotten too good, and it becomes hard to watch in 2018 when you want technology. But the problem with all of these conversations that I can't have is Stugotz is blurting throughout these conversations. Dan, I watched Creed 2 3 times on the airplane on my way to Pinehurst.
The trailer.
I watched the trailer 3 times, Dan.
I mean, Mike sent it to us in a group text, and, it was a quick flight up to North Carolina to play Pinehurst #2. I watched it 3 times. I mean, and you learn something new every time. I don't remember a thing from it other than the homage to Muhammad Ali where he's working out under shadow boxing underwater in a pool. I paused it there once, but I'm telling you, man, few trailers have given me more goosebumps than this one.
Well, but Guillermo's not
3
with
times.
us. Guillermo's not with us on some of this stuff. Guillermo just saw Predator for the first time this weekend because he heard us talking about it. And evidently the director of Predator is going to join us here at some point this week. The director of Predator made in a 4-year span Predator, Die Hard, Hunt for Red October.
Man.
And then vanished for 14 years.
I think you can after you make those, right?
No, he vanished because he was in jail.
Oh.
Like, it's a crazy story. It's nuts.
I thought he made so much money, he just decided, hey, I'm done here.
No, but he's also a bleep Hollywood guy.
What's he in jail for, being awesome?
No, there was... Guillermo, put it on the poll. Was the director of Predator in jail for being awesome? Yeah, it was way too awesome. But Guillermo didn't like the movie, evidently. He's making fun of us.
No. That's not what I said. What I said was, I felt left out, so I decided yesterday to watch Predator. And I will no longer let you poo-poo the Fast and Furious movies because this movie is just as ridiculous as all of those. They were fighting an invisible alien in the jungle.
But it had 2 United States governors in it.
But wait a second, it's his. This is his Fast and Furious. This is our Fast and Furious.
Yeah. So I'm in on it. Now.
Wait, but Vin Diesel's not going to become a governor?
You don't know. The Rock could be president. I mean, that's better. One president is better than 2 governors. Come on.
Yeah. But The Rock came late to the Fast and Furious, and The Rock is attaching his name to everything now. The Rock, how does The Rock is making movies so fast that you don't even remember the bust says they bust because his next one's coming out and he's hanging from a skyscraper. Like, hey, that was Baywatch. It's in the theaters for 1 minute. Was The Rock involved with it? Whoosh, I don't know. He's on a skyscraper and flying in a train to the sky.
What was that Rampage movie? Who cares? On to the next one. I'm jumping. Look at me. I have 1 leg and I'm jumping from building to building.
How is that possible? Nobody's allowed to cash in. Like, you will turn on Kevin Hart the moment he puts his face on underwear. How is it possible that The Rock is immune to this?
His days seem to have 48 hours, and his years seem to be 500 days long, because I don't know how this guy has time to do any of this stuff that he does.
How? Someone explain it to me.
He's got 5 movies coming out in the next 6 months.
You don't even have time to notice that they're going to bomb. Like, all of it goes by way too fast.
Do they even do reshoots, or does he just go in front of a green screen? He does a thing for like 15 minutes, and it's on to the next movie.
San Andreas 2 has been announced, Mike. It's been announced.
And they're just blockbusters.
Wait a minute. Didn't San Andreas 1 end with the whole city being destroyed?
Yes.
They've rebuilt the city in this time?
Yep.
Mike, one of the great things, you've heard me tell this story. Matt Damon got out of the Bourne movies because Hollywood needed the money so bad that Matt Damon was just going to the set and just running around, and there was no script. They were writing the script as he just ran around. He's like, I don't want to do it this way. I don't even know what we're doing. And so he gets out of the Bourne movies. There is the possibility that Dwayne Johnson is doing one of these Rampage movies, but is delivering lines accidentally from Baywatch.
Who told you that Matt Damon story? Matt Damon?
That's right.
Don Batard.
Matt Damon used to be a part of my life. And I came on here and I told a story that happened at Matt Damon's house. And I haven't heard from Matt Damon since. And I don't blame him.
Stugotz.
Matt Damon values his privacy. And so if I'm telling a story of watching a football game at Matt Damon's house, and Bruce Willis is calling, yelling because the Patriots are scoring and ruining his bet, I've betrayed a confidence.
You'd see a nice little opening that he took to retell the entire Matt Damon story. Mm-hmm. Bruce Willis, too. It became a Bruce Willis and Matt Damon story.
Can't even imagine how much Willis had on that game.
This is the Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugotz on ESPN Radio.
ESPN Radio is presented by Progressive Insurance.
Mike,
what?
Mike, go get all the sounds that are Stugotz.
No, that wasn't that.
That was really bad.
Was it? But I don't get fined for that, right?
You had a rough week. You had a rough weekend with.
I've had a rough couple of weeks, but I've been yelling at referees and opposing lacrosse teams, and then I was yelling at Wingo, and I was yelling at Golick because I'm not certain they were playing by the rules in Pinehurst #2. So I've just been yelling a lot, man. I'm sorry.
You know what? I hadn't really noticed. For a while, your phlegm had gone away.
Yes,
it came back today.
Well, I think no, but I think it's because of the weekend he had. I think he got into I think he got into Pinehurst. He got into the drink a little bit. He got into the cigs, as he likes to call them.
The heaters. It's it's funny because I'm walking around Pinehurst and like everyone's got a camera in my face and they're asking me to yell something. Every hole is yell Murray, yell this, yell that. What do you want me to do? I'm playing golf.
Heaters. Is that a New York thing? Calling cigarettes heaters? Where does that come from?
I don't know.
Now, calling them heaters is one of the jerkiest things I've ever heard.
So jerky.
You managed to call them, which is worse, Guillermo? Which makes you more of a jerk? Cigs or heaters?
I'm with Lewis on this.
Man. That's the first fine in the fine system.
I'm with Lewis on this.
We had to fine you because your partying ways were getting away from you, and it was clogging up your entire immune system.
I'm with Lewis on this.
And now you're back because of Hal and Golick.
I'm with Lewis on this. Here's your Sports Center update. The L.A. Kings and Ilya Kovalchuk have agreed to a 3-year contract. Mike's very excited about this. The owners of the Chicago Cubs.
He was a dynamic goal scorer when he was in the NHL. Disappeared for 10 years. He's back, baby.
How old is he?
He's got to be Ovechkin. Well, close to Ovechkin's age.
Is he Is he coming back because Ovechkin did all that?
He wants the party that Ovechkin had.
Who doesn't?
Exactly.
Keith Richards wants that party.
The owners of the Cubs are interested in taking over Syria soccer club AC Milan.
Syria, just
you told me to say Syria. I did.
Out. Like when you get to the A in Syria, just
come on,
drag it out. Syria.
All right, the Cubs are interested in taking over Syria.
Just call it Calcio.
All right, AC Milan. And finally, Sweden pays high school students $120 per month to attend school. Really? Amazing. You know what school I would have went to if someone paid me? I mean, how about you? Oh, you went to school, sucker. With GNC Auto Deliver and Save, don't worry about missing a daily dose of your favorite products. Set up your free subscription and enjoy free shipping and 10% off the order. Quality ship, wellness delivered. Visit GNC.com or a store near you to learn more. For all the latest headlines and information, tune in the Sports Center on ESPN Radio all throughout the day.
Let's just say hypothetically that Julian Edelman is 100% innocent. What is no? Let's just for the sake of this argument,
okay.
Let's just say it's so. I'm giving you a fact. He is 100% innocent and he has been wronged. Is there any sentence, any detail, anything that he can say that would make you believe him? Anything?
No.
If the appeal gets dropped, would you believe him? If on appeal he wins, rather. If on appeal he wins, and the NFL says, never mind, we got it wrong. That one? Does that one work for you? Does the NFL have to come out and say it, which I don't think they will with drug policy stuff because of the privacy stuff?
Man, I'd still think they're up to something. Or there's a reason, or...
Just because it's the Patriots?
Just because it's football.
I mean, Edelman is tiny, and playing that sport the way that he plays it, because he's hard to tackle, he plays physically. And that sport has wrecked Wes Welker. That sport has wrecked Brett Favre in a way. Brett Favre's saying he wants to abolish youth football because Brett Favre looks like our grandfather. Brett Favre, do you know how damning it is for Brett Favre, face for that that sports vitality? The guy who was more durable than anybody is telling you, oh, you got to abolish youth football.
Right. He's getting paid for that, right? I mean,
Getting paid to lobby.
I believe he's getting
against
paid,
youth football.
Yes.
I don't know that to be so. Maybe it's so.
No,
but
I think he's getting paid to wear copper fit after playing football. It's I feel amazing now.
Listen, I'll apologize to Brett if I'm wrong here, but I don't think I am. I believe there's some sort of endorsement here where he's getting paid to be anti-youth football. I mean, Stugotz is strong in him if it's true, but let's find out.
All right, well, that would be
who's
good.
paying him? Baseball?
It would be good. It would be good to find out if it's true, Stugotz, before you say it live on the radio.
I said maybe, and I said I will apologize if it's not true to the great number 4.
No, you didn't say maybe. You came right in strong.
I said I believe.
You softened it to that after you came in very strong with your cynical, he's being paid to abolish youth football. You came in and you stated that as a fact. You did not quit your lying, quit your backpedaling, quit your softening.
Moreover, he had an opinion, and you immediately accused of him only having that opinion because he was getting paid to have that opinion.
That's right. That's the other thing.
So unfair of you to do.
Like super reckless, super awful.
Let's hope I'm right.
Okay, well, but how could you possibly be right? Who would be paying him to abolish youth football? A lobbyist group?
I'm looking into it.
Okay, very good. I'm sure we'll get an answer never.
I'm getting close. Hold on.
Yeah, I'm sure. You're getting close, and I'm sure the show will die death before it ever gets answered. Regardless.
Almost there.
I mean, it's unbelievable what you're doing. What are you doing? What's the matter with you?
I'm trying to get some answers for you. I'm like a dog with a bone on this one, man. Almost there. I think I was wrong. Possibly wrong. I was wrong. I think.
All right, so I'm good. I'm good with walking that back. We have walked it back. Thank you, Stugotz, for all your work here, all your professional work.
I'm sorry, I was confused. It's actually Levi Jeans. Or maybe Wrangler. That copper stuff that he does, though, really works. It's great. Remember the razor he had working there for a while, too? That razor?
Why are you so irresponsible?
Well, I'm not certain I'm wrong on this one, man.
You just said you were wrong!
I know, but...
Confession, my lower back was hurting at a music festival, and I started to diet because of how I looked in the copper fit lower back pad. It just pushed everything else up. I was like, whoa.
It's a faja.
I need a change.
It's a faja. That is just Guillermo saying in Spanish to the 4 people who understand that word in our audience that that's a girdle. Guillermo just accused you in Spanish for some reason of wearing a girdle, Mike.
It was very girdle-like. The waist area was fine in that it could get into tighter pants.
Guillermo, what are you doing with the chimed in, that's a faja?
Well, it's a faja. That's what it is.
I know it's what it is, but why did you contribute that to the conversation?
Because it's funny. Faja's a funny word.
It just pushed everything else up and over.
Pepperoni nipples?
Everything was working then. It was a jarring time. We were leaving, and my wife says, "Why aren't you wearing the thing?" And I screamed at her, "Because I don't like myself."
Why aren't you wearing the thing?
Yeah, why aren't you wearing the thing that makes your back feel better? Because I don't like myself. Wow. Did give me instant relief, but tons of emotional damage. So you take the good with the bad.
That's right.
Physical relief, emotional suffering.
We're going to update the polls next.
More money, more problems.
If you happen to lose your Capital One card, do not worry. Do not fret. Who frets anymore? Do people still fret? Put it on the poll, Guillermo. People still fret? Who uses the word fret? Roy, you're a young person. Fret? Guillermo, put it on the poll. Do young people use the term fret?
Yeah, I can't believe Favre wasn't paid for this.
Do not fret if you have lost your Capital One card, because Capital One and Capital One's apps will help you out. Tell them, Stugotz.
Brett Favre. With Capital One, you can instantly lock your credit or debit card on the Capital One app in case you've lost or misplaced your card.
Fret Favre. That's a thing you just did right now.
I did.
Fret Favre.
I'm going to go have a heater, man.
I'm a one-trick pony, literally. I show up at kids' parties and act cute. That's pretty much it. So excuse me for being bitter. When Geico says not only could we save you money on car insurance, but we do more. Like give you 24/7 access online, over the phone, or even via our award-winning mobile app. Well, ooh la la. Aren't they multi-talented? Hey, I said organic carrots.
Geico. Expect great savings and a whole lot more.
Don Le Batard.
Good work today. That was a fun show.
Stugotz.
It was also intergalactically stupid.
This is the Don Le Batard Show with the Stugotz on ESPN Radio.
Got no shot here. Thanks, Roy. It's time to look at the next generation. The NHL held its entry draft over the weekend. The top 3 picks included the Sabres picking defenseman Rasmus Dahlin, first overall. The Hurricanes selecting forward Andrei Shevnikov. And the Canadians grabbing forward Jesperi Kotkaniemi, I think. The next generation is brought to you by the Home Depot, the next generation of home improvement with everything you need to do projects smarter. The Home Depot, more saving, more doing.
Mike, the Stugotz Army has thundered forth, and Stugotz has spent the entire break taking a victory lap, enjoying the general sleaziness of Grandpa Brett Favre. Play the sounder that Stugotz is demanding that everyone in the country hear.
Stugotz was right? Holy Stugotz was right.
Stugotz stumbles his way into another victory. The Stugotz Army has sent him articles revealing what?
That Brett Favre is out here pushing a nasal spray, Afrin essentially, as a cure for concussion. He says, quote, "This is a game changer. Treating it right away and stopping it is the most important factor in all of this." So what Favre is doing is he's telling you the dangers of football and wants to abolish youth football. He's saying that, one side of his mouth. Out of the other side of his mouth, he is saying, hey, here's something in case we don't abolish youth football and your kid gets concussed. Snort this.
Here's a spray. I don't think that's what he's saying, but your cynicism has been proven by an article to at least be within the realm of credible.
It works.
You're
okay. Pro Football Talk. I mean, it's
It does. It works. Let's update the polls at Le Batard Show. It is. You were totally reckless. You were totally.
I knew I saw it somewhere.
Strident. You were totally in keeping with your character of not retaining anything at all. And then the Stugotz Army thundered forth with an article about his nasal spray. You're basically always suspicious of what Brett Favre is selling, aren't you? Ever since he did those razor commercials and ever since he congratulated Peyton Manning on all his success from a tree.
Can you imagine all the research done on concussions and it turns out that what cures
Russell Wilson
is Afrin?
Russell Wilson's peddling that vitamin water. You remember that? Russell Wilson was out here saying, I drink water. That's why I don't get concussions.
The water had nano bubbles, Dan.
So fine. Would Pat Riley trade Eric Spoelstra for Kawhi Leonard? 91% of the audience said yes. Would Mickey Harrison trade Pat Riley for Kawhi Leonard? 84% of the audience said yes. How about that? Is atrocity a little strong or not strong enough?
What did you say was an atrocity, Billy?
I said it was an atrocity that Derek Dietrich was taken out of the game when he was about to get a cycle by Donnie T-Ball. Yeah. The same place, the same scene of the crime where Donnie T-Ball had Ichiro play and get his 3,000th hit in Denver, Colorado right before coming back to Miami.
Instead of doing the 3,000th hit here in Miami, Donnie Baseball played him on a Sunday in Colorado.
For no reason when they were coming back the next day. Atrocity.
55% said not strong enough. Which is hotter, Greg Norman's nudity or Zlatan's butt tattoo?
Mike, you got a rooting interest here.
Man, they're both so great, but I'm going
so hot.
butt tat.
54% went with Zlatan's butt tattoo.
Wow. Nice victory for you, Mike. I'm happy for you.
Do you remember the fabulous sports babe? 73% of the audience said no.
Oh, really?
She's going to the Hall of Fame, man.
Oh, wow.
She was great.
That's a bummer.
Good, not great.
I mean, but that was ESPN Radio. Wasn't that the start of ESPN Radio? Like the start of ESPN Radio taking off was her, and you guys don't even remember her?
73% of the audience said no. She's a Hall of Famer, though, Dan. She has the last laugh. Is Tom Brady singing and dancing at a U2 concert cool or lame? 82% of the audience said lame.
Would that have been lame 10 years ago? Would it have been lame 15 years ago? It's just lame now? Because
have you seen the video of him at Carnival 10 years ago? Yeah, it would have been lame.
We made fun of that,
ago.
right?
Well, but I think U2 is getting grouped in here, too.
Yeah, it's definitely U2. I think it's just as much U2, isn't it?
The tide really turned on U2 once they had that album show up on your iPhone that you didn't ask for.
It really did, right there. How was that the part? It reminded me of the Want to Be a Pop Star thing where they put music in the refrigerator. That is where it turned on U2. U2 was cool, and then everybody hated him all of a sudden. What the hell happened? Just that?
Mike just told
they
you.
They put bleep on your phone, and you're like, get out of here. I don't like you anymore.
Want to Be a Pop Star is not what that movie's called.
Oh, whatever. Oh, for the love of God.
Pop Star.
The Pop Star movie.
Yo, so much money, man. I've lost track. Did the toddler choke? 80% of the audience said yes. Jerk or no jerk? Calling them SIGs. 70% of the audience said jerk. Do you miss Mike Carey? 64% of the audience said no.
Oh,
I don't understand.
What's the matter with you guys? It was comedy. Comedy Central.
Does Steratore win every argument at home? 70% of the audience said yes. It was CBS, not Comedy Central. Fine. You're up to like $5,000. Is Scorsese an Action Bronson fan? 53% of the audience said no. Oh, I got to click on this one. The weirdest celebrity couple. Hold on a second.
Okay, Mike, what are some of the nominees? We got Brigitte Nielsen and Flavor Flav.
Hayden Panettiere and the Klitschko brother.
J.J. Walker and Ann Coulter.
That was your winner right there. J.J. Walker and Ann Coulter. 28%.
Even better than Julia Roberts. I love it.
Bigger than
4%.
Rick Ocasek. Who did Rick Ocasek marry?
You're doing this thing where you say Rick Ocasek and you have no idea who his partner is, which makes it tough.
No, because he had a famous supermodel wife.
So famous.
I'm forgetting her name. How do you not know this? All you got me in terms of information is that he's still rocking the jet black hair.